What you gonna do? That's the question. What are you gonna do? I'm currently in an online debate with a person who is making a very interesting point, and one that I have not encountered before, although maybe some of you have. His contention is that, one, the Ozarks are a food desert, which I disagree with. I think they're a food bonanza, and there are several different kinds of wild edibles that are in, at least where we are, they're plentiful. They're everywhere. I mean, I've told you about the blackberries. I've told you, well, I haven't told you that much, but I even did a video on acorns. Acorns are perfectly okay to use as a starch to end up being, you know, like your flour to make pancakes and pemmican and all sorts of things from. I've told you about the passion fruit that just started growing out of the ground and is everywhere, and it's delicious. There's wild edible like weeds that I know, dandelions are everywhere. So I disagree with that point with him, but he's very scientific in his outlook that gathering and nomadic living requires a lot of calories, and he is right about that. It does. And the more gathering you do, the more calories you're burning, so you need, you know, to figure out a way to make enough calories to sustain you. And then his other contention is that preppers are, you know, sitting around in their whatever, castles, readouts, bug out places, and that they are kind of preying on their supporters. That, you know, if they have a YouTube channel like I do, and you know, YouTube is paying me ad money, that I'm sort of going to be living off of my supporters, and when bad times come, those supporters are going to starve to death, and I'm going to be, you know, sitting pretty in my bug out location. So there's a lot wrong with that point of view, and here's the reality. Now, some of what he said, you know, like I said, he's making a valid point, but what he's not seeing is that the ad money that I make every month is about $10, so it's not enough to support me, and it's certainly not enough to bankrupt anyone else. But I'm sure he's not talking about me alone. The point is, even if every prepper in the United States tried to support their local community, they couldn't. It's just not a realistic view of how the whole food distribution and support and production works. I don't think he understands, or maybe he does, but he's not thinking about it this way, how much food is produced in the U.S. every day. Just Google that. Google food production daily in the United States. And I did, and I got, I think it was 18,000 cattle and 50,000 chickens are butchered every day in the United States. And my husband said, that didn't even make sense. The United States has 300 million citizens plus. I don't think 18,000 cows will feed 300 million. So that was probably just in my state. There is no way any one prepper, or even the minority of people who are preppers in the United States, and I'm fairly certain I saw on the National Geo video, I think it's 2 million out of 300 million. There is no way in the world those preppers could store enough food for everybody for any length of time. Most of them probably only have a year or two for just their family. That's it. And his theory that somehow, you know, we should feel guilty or prepping is bad because, you know, we can't support the 300 million people should a catastrophic event happen is just utter nonsense. Here's the reality. As a person who doesn't prep, you cannot count on anyone or anything in a catastrophic event to be ready to support you. Nothing. Your electricity, your water supply, your medical care, None of that in a catastrophic national event is going to be there to help you. So is it me, a prepper, who is going to be preying on you, a non-prepper, to support myself? No, that's a ridiculous line of thought. The person who doesn't prep, you are going to try to prey on me because I am prepping, because I will have something put aside, because I'm the kind of person, I don't like to be in a state where I am without the things I need on a daily basis. I have, I'll just give an example. I'm not going to be specific, but I have more than one salad dressing bottle in my home so that I can have the salad dressing, not have to run into town and get another one, when we run out. That's just a pantry. That's what people who have kitchens used to do. They used to have a pantry. And so the pantry, even if you didn't have a store, your pantry was for all the jam that you made that year. Or if you had a cow and you were making butter, you were storing the butter in your pantry, because a cow produces easily, probably more, but 4 to 8 gallons every milking. And so you have all this milk. You're going to store that in your spring house or your cellar or whatever, because your family, unless you have a huge one, is not going to be able to drink all that milk. Or you have other animals that you feed the extra milk to. You have pigs and chickens and goats and other farmyard animals that are helping you with the excess food. So here's the conclusion here. Here is the real message, and this is something my husband hits very strongly, and he's right about this. You need to be a prepper. You are the person who is going to prey on other people should a catastrophic event happen. If you are not prepping already, if you have no food in your house or very little food in your house, if you have no medical supplies and no medical knowledge, you are going to be the person who's laying in the ditch with your broken leg crying, saying, "Somebody help me," instead of being the person who walking by says, "Oh, I can, put a splint on that for you and we'll wrap it up and hopefully you'll heal from that." Or, "I have some tea tree oil in my cabinet. We can put that on that wound and it'll kill the germs." Or honey, or hydrogen peroxide, or neosporin. And my husband is also right in that prepping does not have to be an expensive thing. You can go to the dollar store and get things like tubes of antibiotic cream and anti-itch cream and bandages. So I don't want to hear you're too poor. I don't want to hear your area is a food desert. You have not researched it. You have not tried to find what's edible in your area. Or if you settled yourself in a real desert, then that's on you. You decided to go there. If I had to be in a desert, I'd be researching what I could grow there, because certain plants like sandy soil. So it's not on the fault of the prepper. A prepper cannot take the place of the entire food production, food distribution, food supply for the entire country. They can't even do it for their small town. Who they can do it for is their family and maybe their neighbors. And so you need to be the kind of family member or neighbor who's that person, who's a supplier, who's ready to help, who's ready to take care of themselves, so that when the bad times come, you're not that starving, wounded, shelterless, skillless person babbling and passing away because you didn't personally prep. You need to get on it. You need to be someone who can be a benefit to others. And that's my answer to that guy and that line of thinking. Preppers cannot save the world. Preppers are looking to save who they can save, which is their family and their immediate neighbors. Become one. All right, hope this makes sense to you. Bless you. Shalom.